Moving expenses. While moving expenses previously had been deductible in certain circumstances, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act suspends the deduction for moving expenses except for members of the armed forces for tax years 2018 through 2025, and it also repeals the exclusion of qualified moving expense reimbursements from gross income and wages, again, except for the armed forces for tax years 2018 to 2025. And so all moving expenses paid or reimbursed for tax years 2018 through 2025 will be taxable to the employee and subject to tax withholding unless they are a member of the armed forces. And so the Tax Cut and Jobs Act retains the deduction for moving expenses if you're a member of the armed forces on active duty and that move is pursuant to a military order and incident to a permanent change of station. And so if you're in the military, these moving expenses may be able to be deductible. The allowable expenses, this includes the cost of moving goods and the cost of travel and lodging, but not meals when you're moving to the new residence, storing and insuring household goods and personal effects within any period of 30 consecutive days after moving the items from the foreign home. And not allowable expenses include house hunting trips, temporary living expenses, the costs of selling the old residence, home improvements to help sell a home, and meals while you are moving. And so if you're in the military, you may be able to deduct some of your expenses, at least these allowable expenses, but some of those costs of moving, meals while you're moving, costs of selling your old residence, those are not allowable expenses. They're not going to be deductible. And so a much smaller range of moving expenses that are able to be deducted now than previously.